Well, my role here is a colonel in support of General Lew Wallace. Lew Wallace, of course, was one of the generals in charge of the forts down here. And in my capacity as second in command, I do really all the work. He gets all the glory, but I do all the paperwork and the requisitions and then the casualty reports. And, it's always, somebody's got to be the star and somebody's got to support the star. And that's what colonels do when there's generals around. Inside the tent would be a typical headquarters tent where there's forms need to be filled out to requisition supplies or report casualties or requisition more troops, or even to send directives to other parts of the regiment or the brigade as to what we need them to do when. And this being headquarters, as you can see, there's a lot of chairs around. We just had a pre-battle meeting here, so make sure everybody understood what their role is during the battle. Because when you bring together people, Confederates and the Union, they're from sometimes different areas, and so we make sure everybody's on the same page just for safety's sake, and to make it, since it's really a theatrical presentation and not really a reenactment, we want to make sure everybody understands that the audience is important. We need to do things as close to the audience and safely as possible. All the forts, Fort Thomas, and which was originally called Fort Burnside, and Fort Wright, all those forts were very important to protect Cincinnati. And one reason it was important to protect Cincinnati, at the start of the war, Cincinnati had 42 slaughterhouses. Now, and that was a main supply depot for the Union Army. And really, the railroads and the supply lines that were established by the North that the South didn't have was very instrumental in winning the war. At this position right here, they'd be very well supplied because they're close to Cincinnati and close to their main lines, where the Confederates would be stretched and their supplies wouldn't be near as good. But these forts were to protect Cincinnati. And again, when the war moved into Kentucky and into Middle Kentucky, a lot of the slaughterhouses were then moved to Chicago to even further remove them. But it wasn't a big deal because of the railroads. The Union had thousands of miles of railroad, and the Confederates had barely 700.